Hello and welcome to Kotak Securities YouTube channel. I'm Indu Chaudhary and this is Kotak Chatroom, a show where we talk about primary market IPOs and interact with management to get their opinion. In this special edition, we are going to be focusing on Uniparts India Limited's upcoming IPO. Joining in to discuss more details on this IPO, with me, I have the top management of Uniparts India Limited, Mr. Gurdeep Soni. He is the chairman and managing director of Uniparts India Limited. Sir, welcome to the show and thank you so much for taking the time out.
Look forward to our interaction today. Thanks.
Okay, let me kickstart by asking about this IPO. What is the objective of this IPO and how will it really help the company?
Thanks. So this is a complete OFS. In fact, we have 20.68% private equity investment in our company, and we have another few shareholders totaling about 1.8% stock based out of USA who are also going to liquidate completely. So close to 23% is being offered by people who are exiting the company, and the balance about 9% is by the promoters. And really, the promoters have come to offer for sale because we wanted to make a sizable issue for the market as advised by our bankers. I just want to say something about the company. The company per se is very cash rich. In fact, if I just shared some of the financial figures for the company, last year, March 31, 22, we've had a top line of 1,227 crores with an EBITDA of 271 crores, which is about 22%. And we had PAT of 167 crores, which is 13.6%. In fact, we also have our figures for 30th of June, which are audited, and we've had a PAT of 76 crores and a PAT of 50.5 crores in this period of 3 months. In fact, the ROCE of the company is 31% and the ROE is 26.8%. So the company per se is quite strong financially and is not requiring any fresh infusion of funds in it.
The company's net profit and net sales increased in FY ending March 22. How is post COVID demand expanding?
We primarily an export company, so over 83% of our revenues comes from the overseas markets. Only about 13.5% of what we make and sell is in India. We are primarily in the agricultural machinery and the construction machinery markets, and we sell primarily to OEMs globally. In fact, out of the top 10 agricultural machinery manufacturers in the world, all top 10 are customers of Uniparts India Limited. And again, on the construction side, out of the top 10 globally, the top 5 are customers of Uniparts India Limited. Uh, CRISIL, in their report on the global markets, is forecasting that for the next 5 years, both these markets will grow between 7 to 7.5%. So while this is as the industry will grow, we as a company are looking at very great tailwinds that will allow us to grow even much more than these numbers. Uh, Two or three of them that I would like to mention. One is on the construction side. USA announced a $1 trillion infrastructure bill last year. That's a big spend that the USA is going to do in the next 3 to 4 to 5 years, and therefore is creating a huge demand for construction machinery. On the Again, there is a China plus one which is happening. Most American and European companies are looking for alternatives for China, and Uniparts India Limited actually is a very big recipient of this geopolitical change that is happening globally. Finally, on the agricultural side, the Ukraine-Russia war actually took out almost 40 million tons of exportable surplus from the market, 20 million from Ukraine and 20 million from Russia because of embargoes. Even though Ukraine has come back a little bit in the market, but fact is that the European and the American farmers are making a lot of money because of the high price of commodities, food commodities in particular. And in fact, it is stated that the farm income with the farmers is almost at a 5-year high in the last 5 years. and this is really giving them a lot of money in their pocket. Also, there is a pent up demand because during the COVID time, the normal replacement of machinery could not take place, and there's almost a 1 year delay in replacement of machinery. And finally, the dealer inventories, both for construction and agricultural machinery in Europe and in USA, are negligible. So in fact, our major customers are telling us that there's almost a 3 to 6 month waiting period for the machines that they are manufacturing at this time. Given this background, we are seeing a very robust future for our company.
Mr. Soni, going forward to fuel growth, what would be your strategy for expanding warehousing and distribution operations in the domestic and international market as well?
We already have a selling model that relies primarily on selling from our warehouses. In fact, last year, 40% of our top line came from what we call as a warehouse model, which is we make the parts in India and we ship them to our warehouses. We have two in USA and one in Germany, and and this also is our most profitable selling channel. And as we look at the demand from the various customers that we have, they prefer this channel of buying from us because it is completely risk free, because from a supply chain management perspective. Overall, we, like I said, we are looking at pretty good growth numbers, and mainly driven by the demand generated by the top customers that we have globally.
Are you planning to expand your business in countries like Europe and US?
Like I said, that we are already in a big way exporting, and about 48% of our business comes from USA today. 23% comes from Europe, 14% comes from India, and about 5% comes from Japan. These are, therefore, we are covering the key markets. And just to mention that even though agricultural machinery and construction machinery is used globally, our markets are where these machines are manufactured. So the manufacturing is primarily done in USA, Europe, India, and Japan, and therefore most of our growth that we are planning is in these particular countries itself.
Which sector contributes the most to revenue?
We, like I said, we do two sectors. We do the construction machinery and the agricultural machinery. On the agricultural machinery side, out of our total business, 55% of our business is for parts for agricultural machinery, and 37% is for construction machinery, and therefore majority of our business is doing here. And like I mentioned, the China plus one, the infrastructure bill, the high income with the farmers, we are actually seeing both these sectors are doing extremely well. In fact, the biggest company in construction globally have just given a forecast that they expect on the construction machinery to peak in the year 2026. At the same time, the biggest company in the world for agricultural parts also has predicted that for agricultural machinery, the peak is going to be in 2025. So we see very robust years coming, moving forward. And incidentally, the largest company in the world for construction and the largest for agriculture, both are our customers.
Since the company is getting listed in Indian market, what would be your strategy, especially for domestic market?
Primarily, our फ्यूचर इज जो हमारा फ्यूचर है वो ज़्यादा इंटरनेशनल क्लाइंट्स पर है। और जैसे मैंने कहा कि हमारे पास ऑलरेडी सबसे बड़े-बड़े क्लाइंट्स ऑलरेडी हैं, लेकिन इसके अलावा भी अभी हमने 3-4 और क्लाइंट्स हैं बड़े पर्टिकुलरली कंस्ट्रक्शन मशीनरी में, जो हम टारगेट करेंगे फॉर मूविंग फॉरवर्ड। एंड देयरफॉर द ग्रोथ ऑन द कंस्ट्रक्शन मशीनरी साइड इज़ गोइंग टू बी more focused and higher compared to agricultural, simply because यहाँ पर हमारे पास ज़्यादा potential है।
Is there are any new nations where you want to develop and focusing on new opportunities?
Because of SEBI regulations, we can't talk about what we want to acquire in the future. Although we have done it in the past, and we don't see why we would not do it to grow our business. लेकिन as far as expansion of capacity जो है, we are expanding our capacities even as we speak. For the next 2 years, the plan is to grow cumulatively about 15 to 16% year on year in terms of capacity.
People have started talking about recession. If recession is coming in western markets, क्या ये आपकी कंपनी की डिमांड को और बिजनेस को इम्पैक्ट कर सकते हैं?
To tell you the truth, while there is talk about so-called recession, actually both agriculture and construction machinery markets that we are servicing are actually sort of recession-proof. Like I mentioned, the reasons to you, the $1 trillion infrastructure bill in the USA that was passed last year, that's a big spend that that country is going to do in the next 4 to 5 years. Even your oil and gas area, jo hai, which is the price of oil is so high that companies are also expanding a lot, and therefore a lot of new infrastructure is being done, spent over there. In fact, globally, the disasters that happen, the hurricanes and all that, is happening 3 to 4 times a year now in those countries. And if anything, that is giving opportunity to rebuild of what is destroyed. So all these areas put together, actually, हमने कहा कि they are projecting these two particular sectors to actually grow substantially till 2025 and 2026. So we are actually not seeing any recession per se. The only thing we are seeing is a little adjustment of inventories that is happening. Because shipping time to USA, which used to be 55 days, went up to 90 days, and now it is back to about 65 days. So all that inventory buildup that was done, that is a little bit of correction that is happening right now. But the end user demand is very robust, very strong. Like I said, there is a wait list for all the machines looking forward. And so we are really not seeing any effect in these two industries for so-called recession.
If we talk about the domestic market, how do you see the growth of off-highway market in India, and what are the challenges do you think that we could face in agriculture sector?
So, as far as the tractor industry is concerned, where most of our equipment is used, is still forecasting in the Indian market for about a 5% growth. Whereas on the construction side, the forecast is higher simply because, the government is spending so much on infrastructure, on road building, that the demand is really very high in the Indian market. Although I did mention that our Indian sales are only last year were 13.5% of our top line, and in the past it has gone to maximum of about 17. So we are just fluctuating on the Indian side between 14 to 17% only. Majority is still in the developed markets of USA, Europe, and Japan for us.
Mr. Soni, thank you so much for joining in, and we wish you all the best for your upcoming IPO. Thanks.
Thank you so much for taking me on the show and using this medium to reach out to your viewers, please. Thank you so much, and all the best to you. Bye.
Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.